And we are back. Soulcast, your man John B. Spasmatic over here with
Furiaki.
all day, and we ever got Leah over here. And before we ever get right back into like the grits and the meat and potatoes of everything, I actually have one question on a lighter note. Why is there a swan?
Yeah, so we have a pretty awesome graphic artist, and our Bible verse for grace is Ephesians 2:8. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. And so Ephesians 2:8, the swan forms a 2 and an 8. And then in some of our graphics, the bottom of the swan actually says Ephesians. And then, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of tight.
And then a swan
really
is graceful. So it's just like a peaceful, graceful swan that forms a 2 and an 8 for Ephesians 2.
I guess it's a good thing you made it a blue swan and not a black swan, because then that would be kind of contradictory, wouldn't it? You know, kind of. I seen that movie with Natalie Portman. She looked all up. So you did a good job.
Thanks.
Especially the graphic artist.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks, Alicia.
Keep it blue. Alicia?
Alicia.
I thought she said Felicia. I'm like, no. No. Let's not go there. Leave it alone. All right. Okay, so unfortunately, all giggles aside, because it is a serious. We do need to talk about a few other serious notes. So basically, okay, so hip hop has this little issue, and we conversated a little bit beforehand about it before we ever got on the air. Hip hop, unfortunately, industry hip hop pushes the narrative of sex trafficking symbolically, pretty much. I don't really know exactly what to really say about it.
Yeah.
It's something that you can choose to support it. You can choose not to support it. But we don't support it. Latin Soul, we're all about the underground. We're all about the people. But what exactly? What is? It feels helpless. What the hell can we do?
So yeah, like the rap culture, hip hop culture, it really breeds an environment to promote sex trafficking. I mean, like in the music, the pimps and the hoes and the money, and it seems like a very luxurious, glamorized life for young girls to see these rap videos and whatnot. Like, ooh, I want to be that. You know, that looks awesome. That looks great. But it's not. It's actually a really, really dark world. But they don't see the dark side of it. They just see the over glamorized side. And so it just really breeds that culture of, you know, over sexualization of young girls. And that's just not okay. Like, we need to keep it classy, you know, and protect our children and, you know, raise them in a way that they want to be respectable young adults, not trying to get on a rap video. And so, yeah, that's kind of...
I noticed with teenagers, dog, like, this is one thing that I'll probably have an issue with. You mentioned earlier about like makeup, little girls putting on makeup, and like, you know, like those are like little telltale signs and stuff like that in schools. I don't like makeup. I don't like it when I didn't like it when my nieces got into makeup. I really don't really care for like makeup too much, but it's part of like a growing process, and they like feeling, I guess, like a woman, and you have to let them go through it. How do you? Now, this is the tricky part for me. When you're a parent, how can you actually stop and support the rebellious side of teenagers?
Ooh, yeah.
Because that creates a little bit of a dynamic between, like, because of course every parent wants to protect their child. At least, let's just be hopeful here. Every parent wants to protect their child, but when you're so passionate, when you're so hopelessly trying to protect them, that can be the undoing.
Yeah.
So if there's you being a rehabilitator, what can parents do to help that?
Yeah, as far as like the makeup and social media.
Yeah, just kind of like,
yeah,
you know, like kind of like protect them, but like at the same time, just kind of be like, you know, like not be on top of them, like be over here and be like, hey, there's a trash can in front of you. Oh, okay. And
Nice.
you know, like just kind of like
Yeah.
not be here,
Yeah.
but be there.
Yeah. I mean, that's so hard because every kid is different. You know, some kids need more structure and more guidance than others. Some need more rules and more discipline than others. Like, for instance, for myself, I was rebellious. That's one of the reasons why I ended up leaving at 16 and went down the way wrong path. Because my parents were so overly strict, and, you know, no makeup, this, that. And that's hard. I think there has to be a happy medium where there's guidance, you know, and more so like guidelines. Like, here's the guidelines, and if you don't stick within the guidelines, then there's going to be rules, and if you don't follow the rules, then there's going to be discipline, you know. And so, because some kids can work well in guidelines, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, these are my boundaries, as long as I stick within my boundaries, I'm okay. Other kids, they don't have boundaries, and they are like, okay, this is the rule, you know, this is the one thing you can do, because they don't get like the range. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you know, as far as makeup goes, I mean, there's a classy way to wear makeup and there's a not so classy way to wear makeup. And if you could give more of a guideline and teach them, show them videos of like, hey, this is how you can look classy with makeup, that might be a solution. And some parents just don't want their kids wearing makeup at all, and that's okay too. But then you also have the thing like, you're not allowed to wear makeup. Kid goes to school, puts on makeup with their friends at school. So it's like, hey, at least I have a little bit of control at home if I give them like some guidelines. But I'm not going to sit here and tell parents how to parent their children. You know, like everybody, it's just that's not my place.
Just coming across just a few scenarios where there may be those inquiries as far as how do I not be an overzealous parent?
Yeah.
How do I not be someone that's going to overstep the boundaries that my child feels that they need to have, because sometimes they don't need to have them, or need to have all those you know, that can have full control of themselves. Because still I know when I was a teenager, I did stupid things.
Oh yeah.
Did a lot of stupid things, but within reason. But that was also a different time, different culture.
You know, we adopted my husband's niece, and she's now 17, and so it's been, you know, a whole new experience for me, you know, trying to help guide her through her crazy teen years. And I, you know, kind of go off my own experiences, and I was very sheltered. My parents didn't really share much with me, so I just knew, like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. But I never really knew why. Well, why can't I do that? Like, give me a reason why I can't do that. It's like they never shared their personal experiences for me to be like, oh, that's why. It's like, I'm gonna go figure out why, you know. So for me with our daughter, I'm like, hey, this is what happened to me. This is where I went wrong. This is what you can do differently. I know you're gonna make your own mistakes, but here, like, maybe you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Maybe like my history can help guide you to where you feel like you kind of are in the know, and you don't have to do that too. And I keep a really open line of communication instead of punishing. It's like, hey, if you get yourself into a situation, give me a call, because I'd much rather know and be able to help you than say, like, you're grounded or you're punished for doing that. You know, because to me, like, if I can help her in some way, I want to be able to help her. So it's worked out so far. But, you know, again, all kids are different. So, but one thing I will say, be a helicopter mom or a helicopter dad when it comes to social media.
What's that?
You know, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.
I know what that is. What the No, I mean, like, what's a helicopter dad? What's a helicopter
okay,
mom?
that means that you're hey, you never know. I've been talking to
Instagram, YouTube
with old ladies. Okay, so that's my usual.
I look like an old lady on Wrigley. They say black don't crack. I guess that'll go for me. Go ahead.
Okay, so helicopters, you know, they hover, and so.
Oh shit! I guess I'm a dumbass in that too. It's pretty obvious. So, like, shut up.
So, you know, parents that hover are always there looking over your shoulder. Be like that with social media, because these guys that are trafficking the kids, usually target them through social media. It is so easy to reach your kid on social media, especially if their privacy settings aren't set up, which most kids don't have those set up. And
I'm only laughing because I watched a lot of porn as a kid, so I know about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
it's very easy to access it, and I'm not saying that just because just to be gross.
Yeah.
These websites are very easy to just access.
And if you go to one, then all the others start popping up. Hey, come check out my site too. So, but yeah, privacy settings on one, the computers, but two, on their own social media accounts, so that people can't just go and search out your kid. Social media is so public, and you post one thing and hashtag something else, and before you know it, all these guys are lined up on your child's page, direct messaging them, hey, you're beautiful, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, I want to show you the world, I love you, come visit me, and they start sexting your 9-year-old kid, and the 9-year-old kid starts asking questions, and they start answering them, and it's just, social media is such a cesspool, and if you can have your kids' passwords and you can monitor their direct messages and who's commenting on their page and who's talking to your child, that's super wise, but most parents are like, oh, I want to protect my kids' privacy, they can have their own password, I don't need to access their phone. Yes, you do. You do need to access their phone. You do need to access their social media, because these guys know that most parents aren't, and they can get away with talking to your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. I mean, even your teenagers, or luring your teenagers too. So, I mean, our daughter was they tried to lure her, but she was aware. She's like, this guy keeps telling me all these things. He wants me to go visit him, and it's like, red flag.
How old is this dude?
They're usually in their 20s, sometimes 30s. Sometimes they pose as teenagers.
The guy that reached out to your...
She doesn't give me a whole lot of information. This is actually before we had adopted her, but he was a little bit older, but young enough to where it was appealing, and young girls like when older guys are into them. It makes them feel important. It makes them, if they've been bullied at school and are being told that they're ugly or dumb or stupid or whatnot at school, and then an older guy shows interest in them, well, I got this older boyfriend, and it all of a sudden makes her cool and popular. So it's a ongoing cycle.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Damn. If you would like, Latin Soul can go ahead and volunteer their services as your personal army. So,
yes, we can.
If you're in the San Diego area, this is an advertisement.
This is a
Boom,
public service
this is
announcement.
a public service announcement.
A PSA.
A PSA. It's a public service announcement. If you ever want to be a soul warrior, if you want to be a soldier, join Latin Soul in the fight. Black Panther. Seriously though,
really,
all jokes aside, if there's I'm not gonna offer Latin Soul services as far as actually being your own personal bodyguards, because we don't know where we're gonna be in the world, or so on and so forth. We don't know what we're gonna be doing. We're just trying to do whatever we can here. But if there does come a time where there needs to be some kind of protection, because even then, I think people lack resources at times as far as actually just protection. It doesn't even have to be lethal. Lethal. It could be something as simple as just having somebody that's literally a guardian, or somebody taking somebody on like a older cool guy or cool girl on a date, with your daughter or your son's girlfriend or boyfriend on their date, just supervisors,
like a chaperone.
Chaperoning, like a little cool chaperone, or even and even taking martial arts classes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hurt to actually be able to know how to defend yourself.
I think mixed martial arts is a great outlet.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, a couple mixed martial artists were advocates for bullying. A couple of champions actually within mixed martial arts were bullied in school, right. And they actually took them into fighting.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was kind of cool to know that as well. That's why I got in martial arts. I always loved Bruce Lee. And I was like, Bruce Lee is so kick ass. But I think that's kind of gets pretty much wraps up this section. So basically, what can the hip hop community do? Just to kind of like wrap up everything.
Yeah.
What can the hip hop community do? And then I want you to drop a couple facts before we close out. Let's go with what the hip hop community can do first,
Okay.
and then drop those facts just so we can end off on that note. We'll do it.
Yeah. Well, awareness saves lives, because the more you spread awareness, the more people know what to look for. And most people don't even know that sex trafficking is happening in San Diego. So if they don't know what's happening, they don't know how to protect themselves. So spreading awareness that this is a problem here, and there's a solution, if people know that it's happening and can protect themselves and kind of keep their friends from getting involved, or, even the traffickers, they start grooming, younger gang members starting at a very young age. So if you're aware that, hey, I'm, making my ranks up in this gang and I'm going to have to start trafficking children pretty soon, if you can even stop, that when you're younger. And Johns, it wouldn't be an industry if there weren't buyers. So if we can raise our young boys up as respectable men who aren't going to be buying
Very good
sex,
point.
that's another thing. So don't promote, pornography. Don't promote because pornography is like a gateway drug to prostitution.
Trust me, I'm very aware.
And
I was aware.
in the sex trade. So and guys, instead of being like, that's not cool, don't buy her, it's like, yeah, man, get some tonight. Like, stop that. Like, we can, as a community, we can stop each other. We can prevent this from happening. So awareness is key. We're on social media at Girls Rising Above, and January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So every day this month we've been posting another fact or statistic, and so you can share those with other people and help spread awareness throughout the community. And there's always ways to get involved. You want to volunteer, you can reach out to us on our website. We'd love to have more volunteers. So yeah, that's another way. If you have extra funds, donations, it costs a lot to keep a safe house running. So that's always another way. But to me, awareness is one of the biggest and easiest things you can do.
If you guys didn't know, we will be donating a portion of the proceeds from both the vendors and from ticket sales from Back to Breaks to the G.R.A.C.E Foundation. So if you guys actually have been touched by this video, by this vlog, or this podcast, like, by all means, come through the Back to Breaks. You'll be able to actually meet Leah there. You'll be able to actually sit down and talk to her a little bit more. And even if you don't really care about even like saying anything to Leah specifically, and you feel as if you learned a lot through just this, just come into Back to Breaks just to watch. It's already another $1 in their pocket. So we out here, each one teach one. It's a community effort. It starts with one person, but it finishes with a family and a community. Leah, if you don't mind, can you state a little bit of these human trafficking facts?
So it's a global issue. It's happening all over the world, but it's happening in the United States, and most people don't think it's happening here. And if they do think it's happening in the United States, they think it's foreign girls being trafficked in the U.S. But these are American girls being trafficked in the U.S. And San Diego is a hot spot for it because we're so close to the border. And, human trafficking is a $32 billion industry, and it's an $810 million industry just in San Diego County alone. So, it's on the rise. That was 2016 statistics, and it's only growing every year. It's the second largest underground industry. It used to be drugs, arms, then humans, but now it's drugs, humans, and arms. And they think human trafficking is actually going to surpass drugs soon because humans can be bought and sold over and over and over again. And, it's happening in our middle schools and our high schools. Gang members are infiltrating our middle schools and high schools, and they're luring our kids, pretending to be their boyfriend, pretending to be in love with them and show them the world. And girls, especially when they're vulnerable, they want to hear these things, and they're going to listen to it. They're going to believe it. And then that just leads into a whole nother aspect of things. These guys are injecting them with heroin to get them addicted, and then they'll do whatever they have to, So that's a big thing. There's over 300,000 children trafficked in America right now. And these are American kids, These are our children, our babies, our nieces and nephews, these are our loved ones, and it could happen to anybody. And so nobody's immune to it. California is the #1 state for sex trafficking, and we harbor 3 of the top cities for sex trafficking, which is San Francisco, LA, and San Diego. So that's why it's so big here. And then every 26 seconds, a child is sold into slavery. 26 seconds.
That means throughout this entire hour period, that's been at least well over 50?
That's double. That's like 125. Children. Just while we've been talking here, 125 kids have been sold. It's mind-boggling.
Just to give a few shout-outs before we ever end off the night. First, of course, we want to give out shout-out, and this is actually one of the places that's actually going to be housing Back to Breaks, and that's the Origin. It's one of the realest hip-hop studios in San Diego, so please show them mad love if you want to if you want to learn real hip-hop, if you want to learn dance, learn history. Origin Hip Hop Studio is where you want to check out. Of course, hip hop's finest city. We want to give a huge shout out to our cinematographer Tim, man with the master plan, beautiful, beautiful person. And if it wasn't for him, we'd be nothing. Of course, we have Jib. We missed you today. We miss you. Big shout out to Joe in a Bottle, one of the sponsors that actually believes in our project, believes in our cause, and one of our mentors as well for both me and G.R.A.C.E. And then of course a huge shout out to Grace Foundation, and give back to them. If you can't give back, just do it through hip hop. Come to Back to Breaks, share the love, and our last one is pretty much Back to Breaks, and that's going to be on January 20th, so that's next Saturday, or whenever this video gets posted, so hopefully it won't be after next Saturday. And G.R.A.C.E, did you want to do the quote of the day?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this quote says, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul guaranteed by love. Martin Luther King.
How perfect is that?
A heart full of grace.
That's good stuff.
Grace Foundation. And so, with that being said, we are Soulcast. I am John B. Spasmatic.
This is your boy G.R.A.C.E, and this is
Leia. So, we are Soulcast. That's Grace Foundation. You guys have yourself a good one. Support, love, peace, love, and unity, y'all. That's hip hop.
Peace.
Peace.
Now that's hip hop.
Ooh, Papi, you good.